You are listening to the Let's Chat Soon podcast. We are so excited that you are embarking on this journey with us. Let's Chat Soon is a space where we chat all things body, soul, and spirit, and how when you align all three, you unlock a full life. A healthy you is the best gift you can give to grow the kingdom and to those you love.
Welcome back to another week's episode. I'm your host, Mackenzie.
And I'm Alex.
Who are you?
And I'm Alexis, I think. Oh, crap.
Wow. That's how today's going.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I feel like we need to give our lovely community of people a little bit of life updates because I feel like we kind of trauma dumped on them in our breakup episode and we're like, here's our full life. And then we're like, let's talk through the new year and just like casually went into it of like, let's list things out. And then today's episode, we're doing pretty similar of a couple ins and outs that we have going into the new year. But I feel like we need to catch up. And also, we haven't seen each other in a week.
I know. I was like having the shakes. Like I have an attachment now to Mackenzie and I was like, I'm not okay.
Anyone who saw me this week was like, where's Alex?
Yeah,
like,
we're usually attached at the hip.
Not used to seeing us one without the other.
Wild. We're back now though.
It's your fault.
I know.
So share what you've been up to.
It really is. I've been
What haven't you been up to?
I don't know. A bunch of things. Definitely keeping my schedule busy. I feel like I took a couple weeks post breakup to rot, which I like don't do. Usually I'm like immediately filling my schedule and just like going balls to the walls for lack of better terms. But I really took it upon myself to sit and cry and like feel every emotion. I'm doing a lot better now. So that's good. But I started at a new brokerage firm for my real estate, which has been fun. I go into the office now occasionally. So I'm dressing up and being around people, and that's been fun. What else have I been doing? I don't know, just busy with a lot of work stuff. I was also in Miami this past weekend for like a sales event, which I met a lot of people and made connections, and that was cool. But other than that, yeah, just like keeping the basics and then also adding more work and more events and just networking in general.
My schedule could not be more opposite to yours. Truly right now.
I'm jealous.
The beginning of the year for like influencing is just so weird because everyone just spent their whole holiday budget and now everyone's broke.
Yeah.
So is there much income coming in January? No. However, I took it upon myself to fully detox. We had ourselves some fun over the holiday season, which was a lot of fun. You know, we're big believers in balance over here. So we had a great time over the holiday season. But with that, I definitely drank a lot, slept way too little, and I ate okay. But the over drinking and the lack of sleep, I needed some help.
It catches up to you. I feel it with like, I kind of lost my habits, like just like my daily habits. Like I've been sitting on my phone when I wake up, scrolling on every app there is known to man. I've been staying up late at night, like doing work stuff, honestly, because I've been so busy. But I'm like desperate to get back to my daily habits that keep me sustained.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this week was so good. I did a little bit of a detox and then also just like detoxed my mind too. Woke up every single day, journaled. I've spent time in scripture every single day for the last week, which truly I can't say that I've done that in the past year, which is so good. And it just felt so good to fully detox my body, not drink any alcohol. I was in bed by like 8 or 9 every single night, was up at like 6 and just felt so productive being able to have a morning routine. My roommates are gone because they're on their honeymoon. So really quiet mornings at the house, playing worship music, listening to podcasts all day. It's been so good.
I love that for you. I'm jealous. I'm like up at 7 a.m. in the office by 9.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it's okay. I'm enjoying it. I love a grind season. I think, yes, balance in everyday life, but I also think there's like seasons where sometimes we're going at it 110% and giving it our all, and sometimes we're like taking a step back and being more of like a soft girl. And I'm definitely right now in like my grind area. So
yeah,
whatever.
That's normally me right before the holidays. So
yeah,
swapping it out now.
Amazing. Well, I'm excited for today's episode. It's going to be chill. We're just talking about like the 2025 ins and outs.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're like
some good ones.
Halfway through the month now.
Yeah.
Which feels like we are and feels like we aren't at the same time.
Time is so warped for me right now. I literally couldn't tell you the day or the month or the year at this point. I feel like I'm just like so confused.
I had to sign something 2 days ago and I was like, oh, 2025.
Yeah. No,
Whoa.
same.
Whoa, that's so strange and so weird.
It's like going so fast but slow. I don't know how it's happening, but it is.
No, I think it's going by fast.
I feel like it's going by fast day to day, but then when I like think about last month, I'm like, wait, that happened last month? I don't know. I'm just confused. Sometimes
fair.
it feels like it was yesterday or like a year ago. I don't know.
In terms of breakups, yes.
Yeah.
100%. I feel like breakups really just like super
They're weird.
mess with your mind.
Yeah, they're so weird.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyways, getting into, so how do we want to do this? Do we want to go ins and then outs, back and forth? No, we want to do ins and then outs.
I feel like, yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to do
Start
it.
with all the good stuff we're bringing in.
All of the good stuff we're bringing in. I feel like you've got to start this one up because even though that should be more my world, it will be soon, but
It will be. My number one in, well, this isn't like ranked from like number one's the best, but the first one on the list for me is nutrient and gut testing and then supplementation based off that. I feel like we live in the world of social media and every influencer and their grandmother is posting about a different supplement you should take and do this routine and this. But I think everyone's body is so different. And if you have the funds or the means to actually know specifically what your body needs, you're going to 10x your health. Like, I always use the analogy of methylation, which gets a little confusing, but simply put, like 50% of the population can methylate and 50% can't. So if you're taking vitamins that aren't already methylated, your body can't use it and it's actually causing destruction in your body. So like an example is like vitamin B12. There's methylcobalamin or cyanocobalamin. Methylcobalamin is already methylated and half of the population is great. Half of the population, if they're taking cyanocobalamin, their body literally can't use it and it's like causing all these problems. So I think like having testing from a doctor, a functional doctor, a holistic doctor is like, will do wonders. Honestly, my health journey like didn't like switch and do good until I started testing and changing my lifestyle based off those tests.
people always ask me all the time of like, okay, what's the basic? Where do I need to start? What do I need to be taking? How do I need to be supplementing? What do I need to be eating? And it really is different for everyone.
It is. There's a baseline, I think, that everyone, like everyone will do good on a multivitamin if it's a good brand. Everyone will do good with like a fish oil, but there's definitely specific things that other people need that you might not need.
Right, exactly.
Vice
Even with
versa.
things like red meat. I love red meat, so passionate about it. My mom, however, might not be as important for her diet.
Exactly. Same. I literally use the analogy all the time. I was eating grass-fed, grass-finished steaks like multiple times a week. And then I did my testing and found out I was sensitive and allergic to beef. Like that was one of the main contributors of why I was having so many skin issues because my body was literally attacking beef. It's not my forever. I'm not saying I'm allergic forever to beef, but at that time in my health journey, like it was causing so much inflammation in my body. And every week I was like at the farmer's market getting my grass-fed meat, grass-fed steaks. Crazy.
And calling this an end too is really saying the investment of making this because it's true. Tests do cost a good amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, when you're looking at long-term health, do you want to buy, like supplements are also expensive. Do you want to buy a million supplements to be like, let's just throw darts at the wall to see what sticks?
That's what
Or do you want
is.
to actually figure out what works and invest in something that works? Because I feel like so many people start their health journey and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. And they start taking all this stuff. They do a candida cleanse that they found on TikTok shop. And they're like, I don't understand this health and wellness stuff doesn't work for me. I'm just going to throw in the towel.
Yeah, exactly. I do have a good recommendation. Mark Hyman, he's a functional medicine doctor. He just came out. He's trying to like bridge the gap between the holistic world and like medicine and make it cheaper for everyone. I believe it's like $500 a year or every time you test for a ton of labs. And you literally just go to like your local Quest or wherever they can draw blood and then send them in. And then you get all your results and a doctor like analyzes them. So you're not like under the care of a specific doctor, but you're getting your labs done and they're telling you like, okay, this is what it means.
Mm-hmm.
And it's significantly cheaper than, I know when I got my labs done, it was like a few thousand.
Right.
So we can link that in the show notes.
Give me a year or two. I'll be able to run those tests for
Yeah,
you guys.
exactly. Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
That is really cool. I'm excited for that.
Actually wild. The next in, I have already found such joy in this, especially because I've been trying to limit my social media intake through the detox and everything and just limiting TV, I'm fasting that currently. So lots of reading, lots of audiobooks,
Yeah.
and just like education.
Mhm.
One of the books that I just read is the Ina Gardner. I keep saying Ina. It's Ina. I know it's Ina.
Okay.
The Ina Gardner memoir genuinely changed my life
Really?
in so many ways.
I need to read it.
I'm going to link it in the show notes because it's so good. And the audiobook's on Spotify, which is so convenient. But essentially, I like found this newfound love for reading ever since I moved to England, but really want to like hone in on that this year because every wise person that I follow or look up to is always such a big reader. They're
Yeah.
like, I learned all of these things through books. Like you can't learn it anywhere else. Read a dang book. But her memoir essentially talks about, she has so many cookbooks, has her own cooking channel, all the things.
Mhm.
Not cooking channel, cooking show. But she talks about her whole life in her memoir. And it starts from obviously her childhood, being brought up. She went and backpacked and camped all over Europe for 5 months, which I'm like, oh my gosh, me too.
Yeah.
She did that at 21 years old. I did that at 22. I did not camp. She's far braver than I don't think I could camp in Europe, but this is in a totally different time frame too. Her husband lived in Bangkok for a little bit, so she traveled over there and moved over there. She lived in Tokyo for a little bit. She lived all over the United States, and she has so many cool stories that make her memoir her memoir. It's not just, oh, well, I figured out a love for cooking. And then I just started a cookbook and that's my life. It's here's my journey. I randomly decided for a couple $1,000s to buy I don't even know what it was. Barefoot Contessa was a bakery, I guess, on Martha's Vineyard. No, in the Hamptons. And just like did it. And she was
That's
like,
so cool.
I was just walking through the open doors. Didn't have a 5-year plan or anything, but I walked through the open doors when I was young and then something stuck.
Yeah. I was at the sales conference this weekend and they were talking about like just take the first step because you're like almost 100% of the time you're not going to know each step of the way to get there. It's
Mhm.
about taking the step and then like the other steps show themselves to you. Like you don't need this whole plan of like exactly what you're going to do. You just need the first next thing.
And I think your 20s are meant to be trying new things. And it's like we
Oh,
put all this
100%.
pressure on ourselves post grad to immediately get your dream job, stay in your dream job, work your same job for 40 years, and then retire from a corporate job after you just made someone so much money.
Yeah.
No, go try out different things. I joke all the time of, do I like to try a million different things or do I have no idea what I'm doing with my life? No idea. But
Doesn't matter.
I'm just seeing what sticks. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to be one thing. I think at the end of my life, it's not going to be like, oh, well, she decided on one area. It's going to be she learned things from when she went and traveled. She learned things from her health coaching. She learned things from this. And then I'm able to mix it all together and apply it and make something so great out of that,
Yeah.
which is so cool. Like, again, we're trying to niche ourselves down because social media is telling us to niche ourselves down. The coolest people have these crazy stories of
Mhm.
living so many different lives.
Yeah. They're so elaborate too, which I love.
Yeah, I don't want to be the grandparent who's like, yeah, I did this and then I did this.
And that's it.
No, I want to be able to give a million stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Fully agree.
It'd be so fun.
Okay, this one's kind of just simple and like obviously, but airplane mode or do not disturb. I love when I can just get home at night and turn my phone off completely. Do not disturb, airplane mode. I don't want any notifications. It literally gives me anxiety. I'll like throw my phone away and it's the best feeling ever. And then it gives you more time to read.
First hour of the day, don't touch your phone.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever.
Yeah. No, fully.
I did that this morning for almost 2 hours. I didn't touch my phone until 8 a.m. I was
Yeah.
up at 6.
Yeah.
It was so good and I almost forgot about it.
You do. You
so
like
good.
actually start just like living life and you're like, wait.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't need to talk to anyone. And that's another great thing about being single. Like I got no one to text.
Right?
in the
Exactly.
morning.
You don't need your phone for anything. I use my phone a lot for work. So like, unfortunately, I've had to like set alarms in the morning to turn my phone off, do not disturb, because people are like, I can't get hold of you. But like when I have my me time and I'm prioritizing myself from like 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next morning, it's do not disturb.
It's so good. I love it. Next one is matcha. As I sit here and sip my matcha, I hate spending money on matcha. I don't know why. I will spend $40 on like Nespresso pods, but then the second I'm like, oh, a matcha powder is $40. That matcha powder is probably going to get me more drinks than the coffee.
That's true.
But like, why do I feel like I'm like, I spend so much money on coffee.
Yeah.
Out, in, whatever. Take my whole wallet. Matcha, I'm like, "Ugh, it's expensive."
I never crave a matcha. I like it. It's not the worst thing, but I'm not I'm like, oh, I want a warm, hot. Like I crave a coffee. And I like how it makes me feel. Matcha, on the other hand, like it gives me energy, but it doesn't like really kickstart.
I think once I get into spring and I start making like flavored matcha, like a blueberry
Yeah.
matcha.
I think I just need to get creative with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
That's everything though.
And like go to a good place, for sure.
Yeah.
Or get a good brand.
Right.
This one we've talked about before, and it's like my favorite topic, but knowing your female cycle. That goes hand in hand with like studying. Like if you need podcasts on that, literally look it up. There's YouTube videos, there's books about it, but understanding your cycle so that you can actually function and you're not thinking you're a psycho crazy person with a split personality. You're just a female that has a cycle and you are different in each phase of your cycle.
Mm-hmm. And it almost becomes subconscious after a while because we've talked about this before and now I don't even think I really have to think about it.
No.
Because I've
I
healed
just know it.
Yeah, and I've healed my body to the point where now I start my period tomorrow. I have no PMS symptoms really at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
My brain's a little foggy, as we're seeing in this episode with me being a little spacey. But besides that, like I'm pretty much good,
Mm-hmm.
especially after doing the detox. I'm like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, my brain's clear. Like
great.
this is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the first months. It's started to clear up the last few months, but I was dealing with these symptoms where basically it would feel like I was getting a yeast infection, like right before my period, like 3 days before. Things weren't happy down there. TMI, but like I know other girls deal with this. It almost felt like a yeast infection or like bacterial vaginosis, and it was horrible. Like I was like in pain.
Yeah.
Not fun. Worked with my doctor on it, took different supplements to help that, and obviously changed a lot of like my food things. And I literally got my period today and I was like, oh, I didn't feel any of those symptoms.
Beautiful. That's so good.
Thank God.
Great.
Crazy. Oh, so good. So yeah, I feel like everything we just said, like knowing your cycle, tracking stuff, taking supplements, all good things.
The next one is healing your skin from the inside out. I just had someone comment on my skin and they were like, oh my gosh, give me your skincare routine. I don't have one.
Yeah.
Truly. I don't have a consistent skincare routine I use at all.
Mm-hmm.
I wash my face, sometimes some beef tallow, sometimes some clear stem products, red light therapy every once in a while, but healing your skin from the inside out.
Yeah.
I also started facial cupping too.
You did?
I did.
Yay!
I swear it has like tightened my forehead.
It does.
I'm
It
like,
literally does.
My forehead like magnifies off
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it glowing?
I feel like that's how I get like the glowing skin, like part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's healing from the inside out. I love the skincare brand I use, but if I didn't make all those other changes, I think my skin would still be horrible. Like that's not the thing that moves the needle at all. Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
I love it.
Being barefoot. Like, can we just get rid of shoes? Like it should be illegal to not let people in establishments if they don't have shoes on.
Dude. No. No.
I
no.
fully
No.
like, have gone into Publix without shoes. Why? Why is that weird? Adam and Eve didn't have shoes.
I don't think you've backpacked before. I don't think you've seen the gross showers. Like, I am. Ooh.
Okay, fine. Whatever. But
Being barefoot
Taking-
outside,
yeah.
one thing. Being
Yeah.
barefoot inside, where a ton of other people are, like, people aren't clean.
no, that's true because when people are like barefoot in the sauna and they're like sweating everywhere and their like toes are pruny, that is gross. Okay, maybe I take that back. I have to think about that. I'll let you guys know next week how I think about that. But I don't know. I just hate shoes.
Outside,
general.
fine.
Yeah,
Again,
in the grass.
go on a walk, go ground yourself
Yeah,
in a store.
I don't know. It kind of makes sense.
I also don't want to see people's feet. I don't want to see people's
Really?
feet.
They don't bother
Others.
me. Maybe I just haven't seen enough.
Nope.
Gross
Nope.
feet.
Because people are going to be walking around a grocery store and then like putting their feet up on things. Or like in a
Ew.
restaurant putting their feet
Why
up.
would they do that?
I don't know.
What? No,
Okay,
It's just
we're both sitting like this with our feet up in a chair right now.
that's true.
They're at a restaurant and they put their feet up. Now you're sitting on where their feet were.
Well, also I want to implement the rule like they do in like Turkey, like where you just sit on the ground.
yeah.
Like I don't like tables.
Yeah. I can agree with that in the sense of like keeping mobility too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta get up and down. Gotta move your body around.
I don't know. I'll get back to you if I change my mind. But for right now, I think we should be barefoot everywhere. But the toe shoes freak me out. That's weird. I would rather see everyone being barefoot than wearing those freaking toe shoes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Ugh. Ugh. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anyone, but honestly, if you have those, you're weird.
You're weird.
You're weird. You're weird. I'm not going to elaborate, but anyways.
The next in for me this year is having a boyfriend who's just your boyfriend.
Wait, explain this one to me. Because I get it, but I need an explanation.
But you need an explanation. Do I really have an explanation? No. Every like Christian girl is coming for me being like, oh my gosh, no, like date for marriage, whatever. I feel like in Christian culture, we walk up to a relationship or we walk up to a boy and immediately are like, so you got to be my husband.
Yeah.
Like we decide we like someone and we're like, all right, let's talk marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like such this focus. You're a month in and you're talking marriage, but you're in the honeymoon stage.
Right.
And
you
of
don't even
course,
know who they are.
Right. You don't even know who they are. And then you're on this like high boat and you're like, oh my gosh, we're getting married. We're getting married. And then hard stuff happens like it always does a few months in. And you're like, wait, but I thought we said we were getting married. It's like, well, yeah, you said that to someone you don't even really know.
Mm-hmm. Like, why are we marrying 20 people? Like, I feel like that's worse.
Exactly. Like sit down for a second, date someone just to date them. Like you can have the mindset of I'm dating to marry without
thinking every first date is your husband.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like dating is dating for a reason. And I feel like we need to bring it back to that of
Fully.
like, I'm dating you to get to know you. I'm not dating you to marry you tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think also like you need time to get to know that person and for them to like prove that they're worthy of being your husband.
100%.
Like, why are we just like throwing ourselves out there being like, oh my gosh, let's get married? Like, you don't even know if they're going to treat you right.
And Christian culture is so bad at this too, because every single time I'm around Christian people, they're like, oh, well, I knew this couple who met and they were engaged in 6 weeks. I would simply rather die.
Yeah. Great. I mean, like that couldn't happen. Okay. Awesome. But is that like the dead end story for everyone? What? No.
I was at my roommate's wedding and every single speech that was being said and every like act of celebration that was happening was for them. I feel like I've been to so many Christian weddings where the speeches are about one or the other, about bride or groom.
Oh.
And it's not this person and this person.
Yeah.
It's this girl has changed my life. This guy has changed my life. But the parents speaking, we're speaking about the couple. The bridesmaids speaking about the couple. And it was, everyone was so genuinely celebrating the two of them because they knew the both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how I want my wedding to be. I want people so excited celebrating us because they know my husband and I. It's not just like, oh, she's so great. I'm so excited for their marriage to this random guy who I've met like twice. Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm into dating.
Yeah.
That's
same.
an end for 2025.
Same. Eventually. I don't know when I'll be ready to date again, but I'll get there someday.
I said I was giving myself 6 months.
Anyways. Muting people on Instagram.
Just unfollow them.
Yes. Oh, 100%. But also, like...
No, unfollow them.
Yeah, we've gotten into this because I still follow my ex and like all of our friends.
I just unfollowed him.
Yeah, I will get to that because, yeah, I'll get to that. But like, I'm going through this phase of I've never been friends with an ex, and I don't even know if me and my ex are trying to stay friends. Like, we really haven't talked at all. But like, we said that when we broke up, and I'm like, I don't even know how to do that, and I don't even know if that's like healthy. I'm kind of like navigating that like right now. But also we haven't even talked, so I'm like, friends usually talk. I don't know what it looks like, but I am like, I don't want to send a harsh message to like all of his family and his friends and him of like unfollowing them or like blocking them, because some of them don't even know. Like, literally, they posted a picture of us like a couple days ago and messaged me, was like, oh my gosh, I miss you so much. I'm like, oh, I feel like you don't know that we broke up. And I don't know. I don't want to be the person that like tells them by unfollowing. So I've just been muting everyone because I don't really want to see everything because it just triggers something. And when I go on social media, I don't want to be blasted with like, stressed out. So I don't know. unfollow if you need, but I love the mute option. I didn't know you could do that either. So
You didn't know you could do
I didn't know you could mute. No.
I've been using that one for ages.
Yeah,
With
it's
people
great.
who I see like once a year at Christmas, but I don't actually want to see.
Yeah.
You need to read Mel Robbins' new book, The Let Them Theory.
Me too. No, I love it.
I'm saying you need to.
I know. I want to.
Mhm.
I'm going to.
I've started it.
Yeah. Oh, you have it.
The audiobook.
Oh, perfect. I'm going to get the audiobook. Okay. I listened to a couple podcasts with her and I'm obsessed with her. I didn't know her before, like a week ago.
Really?
Mm-mm. No.
Hmm.
There's also this girl I've been listening to. Her podcast is Becoming Her, Margaret or something. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I love her.
I've seen hers as well. But I think in that sense of, oh, like I don't want them to think, I don't want whatever, let them.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I just I still love everyone and
Right.
have care for them. So I don't know. I'm just toying with the idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't processed it fully. So
A few days ago.
before I would block. I don't want to see. I can't. I have my other ex-boyfriends blocked still. But
I think sometimes it's almost better too because you have an ego in a way of being like, oh, I want to post so they see it. And I want to do this because they
Yeah.
see it. And sometimes I don't want my brain to even go there. So I block them for me, not even them.
that's how I've been having problems because I'm actually the opposite. I've been oh, I don't want to post because I don't want him thinking I'm posting this for him or to show that I'm living a good life or happy. I don't know. I don't want to send any messages. I just want it to be cut off. But I don't know if I necessarily want him cut off from my life forever. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. But
you can always recall an ex 2 years later.
honestly, one of my ends was texting your exes. So I'm not going to share that one. That was a personal one. Because I don't know how I feel about that either. I don't
do that.
know.
Don't do that. Don't text your ex. Don't call your ex. Those were jokes.
So, yeah. Maybe. Okay, next.
They were. Now we're going with outs. Outs, calling your ex. Texting your ex.
Really, nothing good ever comes from it. I am somebody who I've had 3 long-term relationships. The last 2 I had gotten back together multiple times, and when you go back, obviously I'm not with them. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It does not work. And so I probably am I'm convincing myself on this podcast to unblock or block.
Closed doors.
Closed doors.
Closed doors, whatever that looks like to you. Whatever it looks like, whether it looks like blocking, unfollowing.
Yeah.
Erasing their name from your brain. Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Close the door.
Okay, switching gears.
Well, my first out was calling your ex. So you go with your first out now. Top that.
Wait, what's my best? I'm just going to go down my list. But the protein, this is switching gears completely. We're back to wellness. Wellness is blocking your ex, but protein obsession. I'm going to preface by saying absolutely get 1 gram of protein for your body weight. We do need more protein in our diets, but this protein obsession of having all these fake bars and drinks. Somebody at my office today had protein pretzel bites with 20 grams of protein in it, a snack. I'm there's no way that's healthy. We should be getting our protein from whole foods. Obviously, get the right amount for your body, but why are we adding these fake proteins into everything? I just feel that's not healthy. I don't know.
I think health-wise, it's better to get less protein than it would be to use the crap protein powders and whatever else.
With all the nasty ingredients.
Don't do it. The only thing I would recommend is find a clean protein powder. That's probably it.
Protein powder for sure. Yeah, there's definitely good ones out there.
There's really bad ones as well. I personally use the one from Equalife. It's the daily nutritional support, and it literally has so many vitamins in it. If you suck at taking vitamins and need anything,
that's a good habit
listeners,
stack.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I was doing that the first 2 days of my detox. That's all that I drank.
Yeah.
Which was incredibly difficult, but it has enough nutrients to sustain me for 2 whole days of not eating. So it's a good thing to take every single day.
Yeah. Love it.
Another out is toxic positivity. I'm so over it.
I hate it. Because why, do we have to act like everything's always great and dandy? Okay. I don't like complainers. I don't like people that play victim. Obviously, that's just annoying and gross. But with our close friends, we can be real and have real conversations.
What were we talking about last week? That was so toxic positivity.
No, there was something.
Complaining. Okay, this is how we're going to talk about this. The fires in California going on right now. There's so many people being like, well, at least you're okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least whatever. You should be so grateful. No. I'm going to be honest. Those people complain all the heck you want.
Mhm.
Like, there's a difference between grieving with someone and the like toxic positivity crap.
Yeah.
And in grief, you can still bring hope, but there's a big difference between hope and toxic positivity.
Mhm.
Bring hope into the situation. Do not bring this toxic positivity crap. Like, oh, well, like, it's gonna
It's gonna be okay. Like, no, it's not actually. Like, right now, it's not. It's
Right.
not okay. I think it goes into like just letting people complain and listening to them. And like, literally, there's nothing that you could say that would make them feel better. So you literally just have to be like listening and say, yes, okay, I understand. I'm hearing you. Nothing you say is going to make the situation better. Even with like small things like breakups. Like, you don't know how I feel right now. You're not feeling my emotions. Like, there's nothing that you can say that is going to make me stop crying in this moment. So like, let me just cry and feel it.
Yeah, I think there's a huge art to grieving with people
Mm-hmm.
that honestly I wish there was more books on, because it's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've had people close to me lose loved ones, and Lord, it is so hard to grieve with people. And I've been in that boat before where I've been like, oh, well, like, you still have this and you still have all these blessings
Same.
and whatever else. And
Because we want to fix it. Obviously, you don't want to see that person be grieving. So you're like, what can I do like right now to like make you better and smile and all the things? But like, there's nothing you can do.
right, exactly. So I think instead of just being like, oh, well, this toxic positivity is just bad or whatever else, like, we all kind of get caught in it from time to time of wanting to do it because we are naturally fixers,
Mhm.
literally all of us. But there's an art to sitting with people, and I think it's a very Christ-like thing to do, to just sit with someone.
Yeah. Agreed. The next one is, I feel like this has been out and we all know this, but oat milk.
No, I think this is a new out,
Really?
like within the last 6 months or so.
Maybe I've just, I used to be a huge oat milk
Me too.
drinker. And then when you realize literally all the oats are sprayed, even the organic ones, with glyphosate, and you're just drinking a starchy glyphosate water, ew.
Watch me after an oat milk latte. I am so bloated.
Yeah,
It's
gross.
insane.
I was sensitive to oat milk. So like I was allergic to it, but also it's just sprayed with so many chemicals, and there's like no good oat brands.
No, really not at all. Unless you're making your own. It's an out for me.
Well, oats in general, even if you're making your own, like even though they say they're organic, they were tested by like glyphosate moms. There's like this group that will go out and like test different foods, which glyphosate is like a horrible chemical that gives you cancer. They were all bad still.
All right, throwing out my oatmeal. Got it.
Yeah. Not the best. I used to be an oatmeal like every morning drinker and eater. Like I would make my oatmeal, but those days are gone.
Wild. Whole milk it is.
Yep.
Bonus points if it's raw.
I would totally do it if I could have dairy, and I will be able to one day, and I'm so excited to literally drink from a cow's udder. But until then, coconut milk is really good.
Macadamia nut milk is also not bad.
Yeah. There's other options, but
Another thing that I'm learning in my schooling is about fasting. And I made a video on this because the doctor who leads my school will like to kind of just say things, and he doesn't even do it on purpose, but he'll be like, don't do this or do this. And then we'll just like leave it and be like, we'll circle back to that. So he'll be like, fasting's so important, and then just leave a period at the end of that sentence. And I'm like,
what
no,
kind? Yeah.
no, fasting, no. Listen to your body cues. Listen to this, like flipping out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, fasting for 12 hours while you're
Yeah.
asleep. And I'm like, oh. He's like, actually, if you were doing the intermittent fasting and you were not eating until lunch, you were screwing up your hormones so much.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Especially for women.
So skipping breakfast, a huge out as a woman, especially. My schooling's also really big on liquid before lunch. So doing smoothies in the morning.
Yeah.
He recommends doing like a coconut, it's not coconut milk, coconut cream, berries, a greens powder like spinach or kale, and the daily nutritional support. Blending that together, that's your morning, every single morning, and letting that sit out so it's not necessarily frozen. Drinking it over the span of an hour, your body immediately when it wakes up doesn't want to use a ton of energy to break down things.
Digest,
So
yeah.
normally when we wake up and we have these like pancakes and eggs and bacon and whatever, our body can't digest it. So our body's working so hard in the morning that then we don't have enough energy to sustain us throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So having a smoothie, letting your body have an easy breeze first thing in the morning, doesn't have to use up all that energy, and it'll make you sustain your energy longer throughout the day,
Yeah, that's cool.
which is very interesting.
Is there protein in it?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
It's
So
like-
I'm like, that's definitely huge too, because you don't want to have a bunch of carbs and then you'll just crash.
30 grams of protein
Oh,
are in
perfect.
the
Yeah, that's literally what you need.
nutritional support, which this morning I had breakfast for the first time other than just the shakes because I just finished the detox yesterday. And it was my first morning having, I think I had eggs and chicken sausage. I had 2 cups of coffee today because I was so tired.
Really?
And then I just got another matcha
Yeah.
because I was exhausted. And I was like, what the heck? That's so strange. Should have had a smoothie.
Yeah.
Should have just had the
Get all
daily
your
nutritional
nutrients.
support,
Yeah.
which is crazy because my body was probably working so hard. I ate breakfast at like 7 a.m. this morning too.
Yeah.
My body was working so hard. By the time 1 p.m. hit, I was like, why do I feel exhausted? I feel exhausted.
Yeah.
My body wasn't
It's
digesting
interesting.
things.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Paying like literally $1 million for every different skincare brand known to man and like having 1,000 powders. You kind of talked on this one.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 different serums, powders, whatever. I work with an esthetician and literally just use like exactly what she tells me. It's like a cleanser, a couple serums, and a moisturizer. And I know I'm all getting it from the right place. It's all non-toxic. And I think that's all you need. I feel like we need to go back to basics. This like, what's it called? Consumption culture, or what is it?
Consumerism.
Consumerism. Yeah, like we just need to buy every little serum and every little thing, and I think that's going to actually make your skin worse than just going back to basics.
100%. I look at my skincare a few years ago and was like, oh my gosh, I was doing so much and my
Mhm.
skin was so bad.
Yeah,
None of it was working.
yeah.
Again, heal your body from the inside out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
It freaking works. Last of our outs. Playing the victim.
That is so not hot. Like if
Ugh.
you're trying to be a hot girl in 2025, being a victim is like the ugly duckling of all ugly ducklings.
And let's talk about this. If you were dating a guy who plays the victim, or you're talking to a guy who plays the victim, or even not even like playing the victim. No, I guess it is playing the victim where they're just like kind of self-sabotage and be like, well, you're too good for me.
Ew.
Ew.
Oh, it grosses me out.
We're going to talk about this for a
That
second.
grosses me out. Go
The
off.
most attractive thing a man can do is you say, my standards are here. And you say, jump. And they say, how high?
Yes.
Not-
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, you have too high of standards. You whatever. Like, I don't feel like I'm good enough for you. I feel like nothing's good enough.
Then be better. I'm sorry, what?
There's the bar. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the world.
Yeah. How can I get there and then go like 10 feet above it? Yeah. I could go on this topic for days and days and days, but like if you are believing that all of your external circumstances shape your lifestyle and who you are and what you do, like you will never live a happy and self-fulfilled life. Like it just, those two things don't go hand in hand.
No, I know so many people who are like, I wish my life was this way. And maybe I have a lot of empathy. So truly the fact that I can sit here and be like, then do something about
Yeah,
it. Like
I don't-
people who just sit around and are like, oh, I wish my life was the way it was a couple years ago. Or, oh, I wish I could change this. Do it. If you are sitting around making excuses, grow up.
Mhm.
Simply grow up.
No, literally. Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
I have like nothing else to say than just like, ew.
Grow up. Like we are not children anymore. Grow up.
Yeah.
Figure
You
it out.
have, like every opportunity, if people in like third world countries can find their way to be happy and successful and live an abundance filled life, like why can't you? You can too. Like literally, you can do anything.
I think this is going to be my hardest point in terms of health coaching when I have to sit and like hold someone's hand and be like, you need to go on a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, like it's dark out. Oh, well, I can't do that. Oh, well, I don't have time. 20 minutes after you eat.
Yeah.
Every single time you hit your 10,000 steps
Mm-hmm.
in a day. You probably go over that. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's really
There's
cold
always a way.
outside. Buy a walking pad.
Yeah. There's always a way. There's always a way.
Oh, well, I don't have breakfast. Here, this literal, like, eat a little bit of berries, blend in together some a greens powder
Mhm.
and this daily nutritional support. Breakfast,
Yeah.
done. Doesn't need to be complicated. Stop overcomplicating things.
The wheel is already created also. So like, why are we like going out and trying to like redo everything? Like it's already been done and it's back to the basics and being simple. Like we don't have to go out and like figure everything out all over again. Like, I'm sorry, we're in 2025. Like,
Did you see Mel Rowan's podcast on the goals one? Did you listen to that episode?
maybe.
She made an episode on how to achieve your goals. And she's like, systems are already in place.
They are.
Whatever you want to do,
Someone's already done it.
Someone's already done it. Go look it up and then make it happen.
Yeah.
And then back to the let them theory. Oh, well, like, I don't want this person to think that I copied them because I did this. They followed those same systems too.
Mm-hmm.
They probably copied someone else in a lot of ways. Like, we are not original.
We're not walking the earth for the first time.
No.
Like, I'm sorry, but
Whatever you're doing, odds are a lot of people have done it before.
Mhm.
There's systems in place. Go do it. And
Yeah.
you are going to be unique in the way that you do it. So it's not going to be copied.
exactly.
And if they think you copied them, let them.
Let them. Let
Let
them.
them.
It's the biggest form of flattery. So, like,
It's true.
that was a good one to end on.
I would agree with that. No more playing the victim. No more toxic positivity.
It's not hot, you guys.
It's not.
It's not cute.
Set standards for your life. I feel like the ins and outs are good of like really simple, but also like complex. I guess I just contradicted myself. I mean, like really simple, but also
Simple and hard.
complicated things. But just like a good way to evaluate your life of like, hey, I'm going to detox these things about. Detox is like my number one word right now, I feel
love
like.
it, yeah.
But we're fully detoxing our lives and getting these things out, getting people in our life who believe a lot of these things out as well. And just like creating room, because truly, if we don't get rid of some of those outs, there's no space for the ends.
Mhm.
Got to get rid of oat milk to let in raw milk.
Exactly.
And we mean that in every other way as well.
No, I love this trend so much. Like, and I don't think it has to be something that it's just a new year thing of like, okay, for the whole year, you're only doing this and taking out this. It's something like you're first of all allowed to change your mind. So you can change any of these at any point. And it's something that's just cool to do at any point of the year.
Mm-hmm. I was having a conversation on the beach yesterday and a friend asked like, oh, what are your New Year's resolutions? And I was like, I don't really have any. And I was like, you? He's like, I don't really have any either, but I have a lot of things that I just either like want to improve on in life or I like want to kind of pull back from.
Yeah.
And I feel like that saying something like that and being in that place means you're on a really good path.
Yeah.
And kind of to our point of last week's episode of you don't need a new year and a new you.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to advance certain areas and pull back on others. And
yeah.
I don't know. I think that's, a sign that you're in a really good place. And I think that's something you should be evaluating, not just on a yearly basis, but on a quarterly, even monthly basis.
Yeah.
Checking in with yourself, saying, where am I at? What do I need to drastically fix? What do I need to just slightly adjust?
Mm-hmm. I love that. I agree.
I love January episodes.
So do I. Honestly, like these are my favorite topics.
I
to
would
talk
agree.
about. I do too. I'm really excited.
It's so much fun in this space. And I just made a video of like podcasts that I've been listening to as well. I love podcasts right now. Like, they're all so good and
They're
so fun to
good.
listen to.
I know. I
I'm just
agree.
like, okay, these goals happening. This is happening. Doing this happening. So we hope that this episode can also be that for you guys of some encouragement, whether you take our ins and outs or you say, absolutely not, I'm going to do something totally different. Don't hate on me for the raw milk. I would say don't knock it till you try it, but you could do your research before you try it. Please and thank you. Don't just milk a cow and think that's fine. Or do. I don't know.
Or do.
Do your research.
Literally, it's your life. Do whatever you want. No. Anyways.
Toxic positivity. Let's talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but I'm excited for like the rest of this year. We have some plans to do like the guests coming up. Not
Not
in the near
anytime
future,
soon.
but definitely by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see like how this grows and yeah, just continue chatting with you guys.
Yeah. You guys will soon be on the road with us in like 8 episodes. We'll be on the road.
Oh, that's weird to put it into podcast.
It is about 8 episodes, which is about 2 months. We will be on the road in Southeast Asia.
I'm sweating.
Literally insane. Actually wild. We will be booking flights this week, so it's happening.
Are we?
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm so nervous.
Yes, it is. Yay. We are so excited for this year, and thank you guys so much for being here. If you liked today's episode or you have been an avid listener but you are not subscribed yet, we would so appreciate if you would subscribe to our show. Follow us over on Instagram at Let's Chat Soon Podcast, and we love you guys.
and let's chat soon.
Bye.
Bye.